So I am currently in Amsterdam. Wanted to come on because I really want to make a video in general. Not necessarily about me being in Amsterdam, but just about my life and to connect. I really wanted to start making consistent videos because I really do want to connect with people, and I really do want to get some kind of message out there, some kind of something that I feel as though I have something to say, and I don't know what that is yet, but I feel like it's there, and I feel like it's something, and I feel like it's worthwhile to project. So I'll probably just be coming on here intermittently to say thoughts that I'm feeling and things that I'm going through, and if anyone can relate, then do reach out to me, and I don't know, in the comments or on my Instagram. And I just always wanted to make a YouTube, and I think at this moment I am very uncomfortable in front of the camera still. That's why I need to start coming on here when I'm actually feeling like I have something to say. I think this one will mostly just be thoughts with an overlap of some random little videos that I take around the city. It's hard to know what will be interesting to anybody else besides myself, but this is also, I guess, sort of a video diary for me to look back on and feel nostalgic, because who doesn't like that feeling, and who doesn't derive inspiration from that feeling? I am also about to make ratatouille. You know, the thing is, when I first made ratatouille, it looked nothing like the dish from the movie Ratatouille, and that was really concerning to me and made me very sad. I guess that just goes to show you that, you know, life has its ups and downs, and all we have to do is just keep going when life gets rough and your ratatouille doesn't look like what it looked like in an animated series, and then you know, it's like life really is hard sometimes. That's all I gotta say about that. I just recently woke up. I forgot to film anything else last night. I guess I'm not very good at vlogging, although I don't really know what this is. Well, I guess it is like a vlog, like video log, right? Diary kind of sort of thing. Anyways, I'm figuring things out, I'm figuring life out, I'm figuring myself out, I'm trying to figure out how to not always be in the future or the past, and I know that sounds cliche, but it's really hard for me so far. Sometimes it's easier when I'm in the right moment and I'm in the right headspace for a prolonged period of time. A lot of the time I just want to stay in that passionate instability, but not the instability that you're comfortable with, but the instability that makes you feel really unwell. Just thinking a lot, and I don't want to be like a person who is always thinking about indecisiveness, even though I am extraordinarily indecisive all the time. I don't want to put words to my indecisiveness, because I think that a lot of times that just makes it worse. What I truly want as a person, and of course I'm super young and I could do a lot of the things that I want. I can, you know, do this thing for a few years, that thing for a few years, and then eventually blah blah whatever. Just the smoke and mirrors, and seeing through the smoke and seeing through the reflections and what is actually real. And I don't mean to say real as in metaphysical sense, but just like what is my real desires and what is just attached to absolute external reality, trying to decide what is me and what is just my ego trying to suck me into something. And I think that me is just speaking, and me is just talking and thinking of what I'm thinking whenever it comes into my head, not being worried about if it's me. I think everyone's sort of compensating just for loneliness, and if you think about that, it extends into pretty much every aspect of your life, and every aspect of spirituality, every aspect of your mental health and your self-image. And I think a lot of people feel as though they're really powerful And I think that also stems from loneliness and trying to fill some kind of void. And I don't think this is all encompassing in the way that there's no way that, you're doing something which doesn't stem from loneliness. But when you really think about why you want that big house, why you want that car, why you want that boyfriend, why you want a child, why you want a job, it's of course not black or white, but a lot of the time, if you go enough steps back, it's just because of loneliness. Because you can see yourself having people at that house, and you can see yourself, taking people on road trips in that car. Glowing heart, sore heart, winter frame. I wish that you could see the sky right now. But my camera won't really pick it up. But it's glowing bright orange, just in this one little spot here. I'm thinking a lot about love today, and how a lot of people consider love to be just that feeling of the honeymoon phase in the beginning, and that's love. And when it's not exciting, you sort of doubt and wonder. And people consider love excitement, but not, I don't know, maybe they think they've fallen out of love and it's not as exciting anymore. And I'm reading this book that a friend gave me, and it talks about how people are always asking you, how did you guys meet? And that's like the most exciting part of your relationship, is that first time that you met and how amazing it was directly afterwards. But they don't ask you about how your relationship has been the years since then. I mean, they ask you how it's been, but it's sort of as if that is not a standing on if you guys are in love or how your love is, based on how it is now. A lot of people are just like, oh, well, you can work through that, or, oh, well, just remember how you began or why you love this person, or, stuff like that. It's like a lot of love is based upon the initial period of excitement and not on endurance. And I think that I've come to realize that over the years, I guess, although I'm thinking just right now, love is very much a fluctuation. And I think that also, I think this is obvious, but you can't put a definition to love. How I've always said, how you love somebody versus just really like them or are in lust with them, is if you would be absolutely devastated if they died. And that's love. I think not like you'd be devastated if they left you, but just if you would be devastated if they died. And that can obviously go for any kind of relationship. Yeah, I've come to recognize the lull periods in love, and how you can't really define how your relationship is based on how it was in that initial honeymoon period. But it's also really hard to, I guess I just haven't gotten there in life yet, to understand how easy it is or how difficult it is to make love thrive when you're out of that period. And I think that I've had plenty of relationships that have thrived out of that period. So I'm not saying I haven't experienced that. I'm just saying that it's not one of those things that just click with me yet so easily. I have the doubts a lot of the time. In friendships and anything, just like, oh, if it's not feeling, as if it's flowing anymore, is this really, maybe our time is up or something. But then it is still a flow of a relationship. It is still going back and forth and constantly evolving into something new and bigger and all-encompassing, and there's always more experiences in life. And yeah, something that I find really interesting is that I don't feel like I have as much to say, or that I have as deep or interesting things to say when I am more happy. and not like in conversation with people or whatever, but more if I'm wanting to make art or write or create a video that has like a deep meaning or something, right? It's hard for me to come up with or be thinking of things that have a very deep meaning when I am happy. And I think that that's because happiness is more of this thing that not all of the time I've experienced internal and external joy and all of that. And I'm not trying to dismiss it, but happiness, I think a lot of the time is this thing that is like sitting more on the surface of you, because it is light, right? It is airy. It is bubbling out of you. It's like very external. And I think that sadness or pain or things like that are very internal things. When you think about the word deep, right? It is like very internal. It is like of the depths of yourself. And I think that a lot of the time it's hard to go to those depths when you are focused more on this external reality, or you're focused more on these emotions that are lighter and airier and higher up outside of yourself and on top of yourself and on this like first layer of your being. But I think that's also very subjective. And I think that it's also just because I think that happiness is not as accessible to as many people as sadness is or pain is. I think that when I'm happy, I can certainly think very, very deep thoughts, and I would say almost even more deep in a way of spirituality or in a way of understanding life when I'm happy. But I just don't know how to express it as well. I think that it's not as accessible when I try to express the deep emotions that I feel when I'm happy versus the deep emotions that I feel when I'm sad. I'm not exactly sure what I want these to be, and I think that I'll just let them be in general. And I'm not sure that I quite want to have an absolute disembarkment from the videos, because I do sort of want them to be all connected in a way. And this one very, very long, always changing diary entry. Yeah.